they get $20 to $30 out of that for as they fee for selling it. So the lower level drugs that are on the front lines, they get arrested the most. They could get into all the street crime the most, as well as they don't make too much money. And those are the ones that's usually people and the citizens are complaining about.
And the prison sentence has increased over the last 5 years.
How long?
It depends on how much drugs. If you're talking about a sizable quantity, it could be 15 to life.
Without parole?
Without parole. Without parole. And now we're getting away from the 15 to life. And we're talking about cutting the bottom out and having people do fixed sentences. California led the way in what we called the 3 strikes law. 3 felonies and you're in for natural life. The felonies sometimes are not big at all. It could be possession of drugs. It could be 1 vial of crack. That's a felony. He can do natural life for that vial of crack because of his prior record.
MPF, sir. He turned around and attempted to flee this way, which is typical of someone that has narcotics trying to get away from us. So we followed him. By the time we got up to him to stop him, he had dropped the narcotics to the ground, which is a pack of crack cocaine. So now he's begging us to not take him to jail, and that he's trying to state he lives here, but we know this is a narcotic location, which he does not.
Are you going to arrest him?
Yes, we're going to arrest him for 1 pack of crack in the state of Michigan. This constitutes a felony. Repeat, Inspector.
Right here at the house. Let's go over the admin and have somebody call. Hey guys, it's 16 to make 158 Pasadena. 158 Pasadena.
Okay, 14. Also, as you see the money he has here, all this money, once we have this pack of crack cocaine, is subject to forfeiture now. So all his money can be forfeited.
30. We'll switch over to admin.
Which is roughly
16,
30, 35, 40, maybe $50-something, which is forfeit. Whether he had $2 or $200 or $2,000 plus, you can take it under this 1 pack of suspected crack cocaine that we found on. And it's so easy to get that another low-level drug dealer to replace one when we take them away. So, you know, you go as low as now 8, 9 is selling.
Do you sometimes pity them?
Pity them?
No.
They're very low down.
No, and not at all.
They're the ones that make our job the most difficult, because they're the ones, like you said, that the citizens complain about. They're the most visible. You know, if you drive down the street, you aren't going to see the high-level drug dealer, and if you do, he's not causing problems. He's very low-key. The racial impact of this is profound. A program in Washington called the Sentencing Project did a study a number of years ago. What they saw was that 1 out of 4 young black men in their high teens and low 20s, 1 out of 4 young black men were either in criminal justice custody, in prison, or under criminal justice supervision at any point in time. So today, 1 in 4. This isn't over the span of a year. This isn't over the span of a lifetime. This is at any one time, 1 in 4. They did the same study again. They updated it. The statistics were now 1 in 3. Their prediction is that if things continue as they are, by the turn of the century, it'll be 1 in 2. The damage that it does to a community to have so many of its young people socialized in the prison system is beyond measuring.
How many people you have to transport?
Just 1 subject, ma'am.
I don't know if most of you were brought up in this area.
I was.
You was.
And I was.
Yeah, well, don't you come into a situation where you suddenly have to arrest somebody that you might have known from?
Yep, all the time. But if they're bad enough where they know you're a cop, they know you're a police officer, and they want to sell dope in your neighborhood, then they bad enough to suffer the consequences. They gotta go.
But it's hard, because you might have known.
Sometimes. But then again, if they disrespect you and they know you're a police officer, then there's no hard feelings.
Yeah, that's my big thing is respect, too. I had occasion with family members of mine that I had to arrest and do a drug raid.
Family members?
Yes, and if they disrespect you enough to sell narcotics in your city area, knowing that you are the police and knowing what you are doing every day, then they are subject to anything just like anybody else. And as long as you keep telling yourself that, you don't care, and you don't worry about it, and you will do exactly what you're supposed to do.
Entire generation, entire communities are being shaped by this war on drugs, and it does not happen evenly across the population. There was a study done in New York State showing that 75% of the people in New York State prisons came from the same 7 communities in New York City. The same 7 poverty-stricken communities in New York City. Those are the same communities where the schools don't work, where police brutality is most of a problem, where the social services don't work, where the housing stock is problematic, and where the police go to do their drug sweeps.
As you see back here, these pit bulls, they breed pit bulls like this to stop us and coming into their home. What they do is they had the pit bulls running around the inside of the dwelling, so when we make entry, it slows us down, and the pit bull tries to attack us as we enter into the dwelling.
So what do you do then?
We usually have to take the dog's life.
I think that what you see is good politics, that there's political benefit in looking tough on crime. There's a whole economic infrastructure built right now around prisons.
How do you mean?
Well, people talk about the prison industrial complex in the same way that they used to talk about the military industrial complex. There are communities in upstate New York where most of the prisons are, where the primary industry is being a prison guard. These were people who would have been dairy farmers a generation ago. The dairy farms are gone. Now the kids of the dairy farmers are working in prison. You've got a huge amount of industry connected to prisons. You've got prison construction. You've got jobs that come from running the prisons. You've got prison health care. You've got manufacture of prison uniforms. We're even seeing industries come in and try to use prison labor as a cheap way of doing their manufacturing. But when I go to criminal justice conferences, there are vendors who have a display area, and they talk about criminal justice as a guaranteed growth industry. And it is.
We pray, God, that as we come to you, bless us with your presence today. And help us that this place, which is termed a prison, will not be an institution of incarceration, but will be an institution, a facility of rehabilitation. That your people who should be housed here, that they will emerge from this place better, productive citizens, that their lives will be challenged, and that they will be able to be good, contributing citizens to the economy and for the betterment of their general future and welfare. In the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord.
I am happy to introduce to you Dr. George C. Zoley, President and Chief Executive Officer of Wackenut Corrections Corporation. Wackenut Corrections has become a leading developer of privatized correctional facilities worldwide. Dr. Zoley.
It's so nice to be here finally and see this facility in its completion after such a long process that involved state, county, and local governments to bring this kind of project and its economic stimulus to South Bay.
This pod holds 64 inmates. This is a quiet room where they'll be